Have you ever dreamt about being a wrestler? Standing on the turnbuckle, holding the world title above your head? Now your dreams can become reality with the North Wales Wrestling Dojo. Training sessions are held every Monday and Thursday, 7pm till 9pm, and Saturday, 12 noon till 4pm at the North Wales Wrestling Dojo, located behind the Little Theatre in Rhyl, North Wales. Dare to dream with the North Wales Wrestling Dojo.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you're listening to BWP Encore Radio! I am your host, BWP's technical saviour to the masses and 2016 Secret Superstar of the Year, and now officially known as CD Famously, Chris Dutton. And joining me tonight, as always, he is the hardest working, best looking referee in British wrestling today, Max Davies.
Hello. Unfortunately, I am not actually alongside Chris this evening, but I am with you via Skype. It's a very wintry evening tonight, and it's very white and the snow and travel chaos, so we can't get anywhere. And unfortunately as well, but this time not due to the weather, we don't have Johnny B. Goodman with us either. Johnny B. Goodman has actually been called up to go onto the crew with the Encore TV section of Encore, so he'll no longer be with us. It'll just be me and Chris Dutton, and I'd like to wish Johnny all the very best with the TV side of the BWP Encore production.
Yeah, do you know something, Max? I haven't taken this lightly. Just to be honest with you, it feels to me like we've kind of been abandoned here. You know, I mean, if you ask me, Johnny is kind of a sellout. I mean, you know, if you look back at the awards bash, you know, last month, everybody, out of the three of us, the two of us won awards. You know, myself and you, Max, we both won awards last month, right? And the one guy who didn't win the award, Johnny, look, he's the one that's moved up to TV, and we're the ones that are here on the radio. I mean, how is that fair?
Well, I don't think it is fair, but I mean, I can see why it's happened. I don't have a face for TV. I don't really... Personally, I don't want to be on TV either. And you, Chris, well, we don't know whether you're looking to one of the presenters or either into the camera. Because your eyes, we don't know where you're looking.
That's great, Max, but, you know, when I'm doing a radio show with the two of you, I kind of have to have one eye in each direction because, you know, I've got to keep an eye on you both. And I've got to be honest, I never really liked Johnny. I mean, you know, I always thought his opinion, just they differed to mine so much. I mean, I just don't think we work well together, and I'm kind of glad to see him go. I think, you know, Max, we have our differences, but I mean, really, you and I, you know, we are the A-team. We are BWP Encore Radio.
We are, yes, yeah. Another thing about Johnny, he's a bit of a kiss-asser, you know? Have you seen
Tell me about it.
him with Kim and Phil and Leanne and all the rest of that Stoke group? He doesn't have kiss their ass. I mean, have you noticed that?
Well, you Kim the Rim, you know, each to their own. If those are the kind of people Johnny wants to hang around with, the Stoke, you know, maybe he should just fuck off and move to Stoke. You know, I mean, obviously he doesn't appreciate as well she's, you know.
Yeah, well, yeah. So there we go then. We've concluded that Johnny should just fuck off
to Stoke.
Wherever, as long as it's Encore Radio.
I completely agree.
Right, okay, marvellous. Right, I think we should crack on though, Chris. We can't sit down and talk about Johnny all evening.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this is a new year for Encore Radio, and it's a fresh start, just me and you, and we got a lot to talk about. A lot has gone on over the Christmas period. We've got a lot of shows coming up this year, especially this spring. We just had a hell of a show at Denby Town Hall last Saturday night, which I'm sure we're going to do a full review of in the near future.
Yeah. It's the Road to the Rumble. It was a hell of a show. Happened Demi just gone this Saturday, and we will definitely be reviewing that show on our next episode. That's for sure. We would have liked to have done it tonight, but we can't fit it in because we've got so much that we want to talk about already.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think we should probably start with the awards bash last month. Obviously, it was an exclusive event for friends of the talent and people involved in the business. Hell of a night, dare I say. It's a night that we never really forget in a hurry.
It's, you might not have forgotten it in a way, but I don't remember an awful lot.
I don't think you remember any of it.
No, actually, yeah, you're right. I remember absolutely nothing apart from the notes I hold in my hand right now. I remember nothing of it. I do remember Johnny Goodman's ass, actually, because he got his ass out, and so did Don Micho.
Yeah, luckily for me, I was in the back. Obviously, I am the tech guy for BWP. I was in the back for most of the show, so thankfully I didn't have to see that on the night. I have watched the footage back. The footage is currently being...
It back.
It's currently being edited. It will be up probably within the next few days on our on-demand service. Obviously, we're rolling out our new content for 2017. Loads of new shows coming up this year. Lots of exclusive content. That's probably going to be one of the most it's going to be coming up very soon. So anyone that wasn't there and wants to see what all the fuss is about, everything we talk about shortly, get on demand and get signed up to that. Subscribe for only $3.99 a month. It's the best deal you can get, and watch that. Just watch it back. It kind of, there aren't words that can describe some of the things that went down on that night, and I'm not going to try. All I can say is just go on demand and watch it. It's just ridiculous.
There was also a live drill bit on there which was done on the night, and it is awesome. It's the best drill bits I've ever watched. It was brilliant.
The only thing I will say is, from my experience now, Dean McManus does a better drill than drill.
He makes a better drill than drill. Yeah, how does that work?
I don't know, and I'm sure we'll get to that. So, Max, I believe you want to go through the categories for the night?
Yeah, okay, so we're going to start off with one of the big awards of the evening. It was the match of the year. There was a few in contention for this, but the overall winners was Steve Saxon versus Danzig in a Denby death match, which happened just before Christmas, right before Christmas, on the final show of the year. Chris, go on, talk us through this match a bit, mate.
I'm sure, the fact that it was the final match of the final show of the year had nothing to do with the fact that it won match of the year. No, I have to give...
Can't say that, Chris, because we've had other winners in previous years of the match of the year, and they were not the final match of the final show. That you can't say, okay, yes, that would have been fresh in people's memories, but it's not. That isn't the reason why it won it, is it, Chris? It can't be.
I tell you what, I have to give credit where it's due. Steve Saxon put himself through hell on that night. Obviously, this was to be his final match ever in wrestling, and what a match to take part in a Denby death match with Danzig. I mean, just some of the things those two put their bodies through. I mean, I know I make light of the situation, but it really was just one of the best matches of the year, and rightfully so. I believe it well deserved to win that award.
It did, yeah. It was a brutal match, and I was so proud of Steve. I've got to say, I was proud of Steve. There's no secrets about it. Me and Steve are mates, and I just thought the amount of punishment he took was unbelievable. And that swanton, the worst looking swanton I've ever seen, but he managed to pull that off, even though he'd injured his back already in that match. And fair play, we can't leave out Danzig here because, it takes two of them to dance. Danzig played his part in this match perfectly as well. It was one hell of a match, and I'm sure it's going to be remembered and referred to for years and years to come.
Yeah, that swanton from Steve, it certainly wasn't one of Ry Lloyd's swantons. That's all I'm going to say on that. Obviously that match is now available on demand, of course. So I'm assuming everyone would have seen that by now because it's one of the highest. And obviously we saw the turnout we had for that night in support of Steve. It was an absolute full house. It was incredible to see everyone. It was just the reaction he got for the things he put himself through. I just hoped for him that was a high note to go out on, and obviously he emerged victorious, which is always a good thing, especially if it's your last match. I got to say, I am proud of Steve. I mean, I don't know if I'd have the balls to put my body on the line like that.
No, you probably won't. That's why you stick behind the desk.
I know my role, pal.
Yeah, you sure do. Ever since you got that little tiny cut on your leg in the North Wales Wrestling Dojo, you haven't been interested in doing anything
Little
like that.
tiny cut. Little tiny
You're a
cut.
fucking pussy, aren't you, Chris? Let's be honest, mate.
Mate, you weren't there. Anyone in that building can attest to my injuries. You just ask the babyface Pitbull. The look on his face. I thought he might have needed the ambulance.
Yeah, well, he probably did, looking at your scrawny little legs, mate.
Mate, scrawny is one thing I am certainly not, especially now.
Right, moving swiftly on. We shall now talk about the next category, was Female of the Year. There was a plethora of females for this award. It was eventually won, however, by Kim the Rim Rocks.
Now, Max.
What?
I mean, yeah, I know that I said the same thing a minute ago, but still, I mean, come on.
Well, it's an ongoing gag. It's on social media. Just go to her Facebook page and you'll find out all about it. But yeah, it was won by Kim, and rightly so as well, because she has done a fantastic job this year. It's not easy doing her job. She has to inject life into the crowd as soon as she steps out through them curtains at the beginning of the show. And I admire the way she does it. She does it brilliantly, and yes, rightly so, Kim Rocks won Female of the Year.
Yeah, and she has to work with me, which is not an easy job in itself.
No, I know. No need to tell me about that one, pal.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm slightly biased. I mean, I didn't realise that Female of the Year applied to announcers as well, but, I didn't make the categories, so well done, Kim. The Rim.
But it's Female of the Year. It's not Female Wrestler of the Year.
Well, I'll give you that. And I think it's well deserved. Like I said, it's not an easy job.
Yeah, no, it's not an easy job, and more power to her. She does a fantastic job, and I know she is loved by so many of the BWP faithful. Right, so Chris, the next category on my list is the oh my god moment of the year. So many memories from 2016 could have been won by absolutely anything, and I know, speaking to Steve Saxon, that this was one of the closest awards. In fact, it was the closest and most hotly contended award out of the lot. But it was eventually won by Danzig and myself for the Denby incident when Danzig threw me down the stairs. I don't remember an awful lot of that. You videoed it, so go ahead and talk us through that, Chris.
Well, Max, luckily for you, I was there on the night and I had my camera rolling. I mean, I dare say if it wasn't you should be thanking me, if anything. I mean, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have that award. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, luckily, I had my camera rolling. It was just BWP Encore lads on tour. We were just all having a lovely chat. And the next thing I know is you have been thrown headfirst into a wall and chucked down the stairs. Yeah, not the most pleasant of experiences, but I mean, the video went online shortly after that. It went viral on Facebook, and I still hear people asking me about it today. So, yeah, I don't know what was second in the running for the award of OMG Moment of the Year, but
I know what it is. It was Danzig in a chair shot in against Steve Saxon.
Right.
That's why I know it was so hotly contended, because I know Steve wanted to win that one as well.
I have to say, I dare say that you being thrown down the stairs and left for dead is slightly more OMG than just being hit in the head with a chair, but.
Well, it was an unprotected chair shot, Nick, and...
well, he should have put his hands up, shouldn't he?
Well, yeah. I actually had a go at him after that, because I hate unprotected chair shots. I really do. Yeah.
It wasn't pretty. But well deserved, Max. I've got to give it to you, bringing the awards home to Team Encore. Can't fault you, lad. Just luckily for you, I was there. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't have won it without you, pal, so I suppose, thank you very much as well.
Yeah, well, you thanked me in your acceptance speech. I was happy with that.
Did I?
You did. Oh, you don't remember, do you? You haven't, of course. Well, I suggest to you that you watch it back once it's been edited and once it's online.
Make me look good.
There's not a lot that can make you look good on this one, pal.
Oh, great.
It's a lost cause.
I hope not, buddy. I really hope not. Because I'm still getting so much heat from that night. So much heat. Right, okay, so we'll move on. Rear of the Year, presented, of course, by Miss Kim Rocks. And it was actually to be contended on the evening. There was loads of contenders, from what I remember. They were all lined up, including myself, lined up along the stage at the British Royal Legion in Pennyforth, all sort of shaking their tushies. We had a couple of Moonies, and the winner was picked by Leanne, and the winner, of course, being Don Micho. And you've got to bear in mind here, Chris, that Leanne is the girlfriend of Filthy Woodvine, who is the manager of the Red Right Hand, and just so happens that the winner of this category was the leader of the Red Right Hand. I smell fix here, mate. I think it was fixed from the beginning.
Well, I mean, I'm not one to judge, you know. I personally, I feel that it was a completely unbiased thing. Maybe Leanne just felt that Don Micho had a better looking arse than Phil. I mean, it could just be completely innocent. Did you say that Kim voted for the winner as well?
Yeah, I think they were working together, but I think it was Leanne that picked the overall winner.
Would you say that Kim had a very keen eye on all those bare asses?
Yeah, of course she did, mate. She was loving every minute of it.
I gotta say, obviously...
That girl, she has no shame.
Clearly not. This is not something I was made aware of until it happened, basically. I just had a song on my playlist. It was, if anyone remembers, Mr. Ass's Ass Man theme. And I was just instructed to keep on playing it until the segment finished, which ended up being about half an hour long or something ridiculous like that. So I'm kind of glad I was in the back for that one. I'm glad, I bet you had a nice little... I mean, were you comparing yourself to everyone else?
Mate, I was blind drunk. I wasn't doing anything apart from dribbling down my own shirt.
I was watching Ry Lloyd. He was getting a good look at Johnny. I saw it.
I've seen that photo.
Everyone's seen that photo.
Yeah, Ry Lloyd, the pervert.
No comment.
Yeah, we've seen him. He's getting a proper rifle. He's looking at Johnny's ass like it's a peach.
Well, I'll tell you something. I mean, Don Micho... All night, Don Micho was adamant that he was going to go home with one award at the very least. And I mean, of all the awards to go home with Rear of the Year, I mean, that must be quite the achievement for him.
Well, let's be honest, he's definitely the ass of the year, wasn't he? He's been a right ass all year.
I think you have a wrong impression of the Red Right Hand. I think you're confusing opportunistic with villainous and malicious, and I think Don Micho, if anything, has been opportunistic and has been very successful this year, personally.
With his tactics.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's had a lot of help, but I'm assuring that he's not telling them to do that. It's their decision.
Whoa, hold up there, mate. With help. There's a fine line between help and cheating. And the Red Right Hand were on the other side of that line. They've been cheating all year. They were cheating all year to get what they wanted. And it's not done. It's not sportsmanlike. And they should take a long, hard look at themselves in the mirror.
As far as I'm concerned, Don Micho is the ultimate opportunist. If there was an award for Ultimate Opportunist of the Year, that would go to Don Micho. Because his friends decide to help him win matches, that's not his fault. He might not be telling them to do that. They might just be wanting to help their friend. Okay, just because he capitalises on that and has won titles and been very successful, that's not a knock on him. That just means he's good at what he does.
Right, we're going to have to agree to disagree here again,
yeah,
Chris.
Again.
Bring Johnny back. Johnny, all is forgiven. Chris, fuck off.
I tell you what, the one thing I'm noticing from doing this, Max, is I am the only voice that matters here on this podcast, because clearly I'm the only one that has a valid opinion anymore. I don't know, maybe you're just feeling sorry for Johnny and it's jaded your opinion, but I don't know, but I mean, clearly my opinion is the right one.
Are you on drugs?
My mind is 100% clean and focused.
Is yours. Really? Really? I think
yeah.
you've been spending too much time with the red right hand. I've seen you in the locker room when you're filming their promos. You spend far too much time in that locker room. I think they're starting to have an effect on you, Chris.
Hey, just because I choose my friends wisely, maybe, I'm picking the right kind of company. I mean, you might want to keep the company of someone like Johnny B. Goodman, but look what he's done. He's abandoned you, Max. He's fucked off to go and do the TV show. He's left you.
My mates, I can tell you now, my mates are Dylan Roberts and Steve Saxon. Okay? Two of the nicest and straightest guys you'll ever come across. So don't be telling me that my friends aren't worth knowing.
Well, I think we'll agree to disagree on that one.
Just remember who signs the checks, pal. Steve signs your check. Oh, and I sign your expenses for Encore as well, don't I?
That's just because I'm good at that's I do a job and I'm good at my job, and that's all I can say on that.
Right, okay, we'll move on, because otherwise I'm going to run down to Denby and shove my fist down your throat. Oh, good. Here we go again. The next award category was, it wasn't actually a category, but it was an award given on the night. It was the Secret Superstar of the Year, given to someone who works backstage, who never gets seen and who never gets any recognition. And of course, this year it was won by your very good self, Chris.
Yes, it was, and I'll
let you carry on blowing smoke up your own ass. Go on, off you go, pal.
Mate, I don't need to. I have been recognised for my untapped potential and excellent work. I mean, I was not made aware of this. This was a complete surprise, and I thank Kim Rocks and I thank Steve Saxon for arranging that. I really do. I appreciate that. But like you say, it's for someone who's never seen, never recognised. Well, I mean, clearly I'm never fucking recognised when I'm on this podcast, Max, because you won't put me over. So, I mean, obviously it took something like the awards bash for me to get that recognition. And I tell you what, that trophy is sat on my... That trophy is sat on my mantelpiece right now, right in front of me, and I tell you what, that trophy will not be leaving my mantelpiece. It is the proudest thing I've ever received, and it is one of the crowning achievements of my career, Max. And let's just face it, I mean, as far as awards that matter on the night, I mean, if it wasn't for me, these shows would not happen. I've backstage, Max, I run the show, and I deserve that award, and I tell you what, I will win that award for a second time in 2017, mark my words.
Yeah, but you're the only production guy we've got. Of course you're about... There's no one else who can win it, is there, Chris?
There's no one else that can do my job.
Oh, I'm sure there is. They're just not currently signed to BWP.
Well, I tell you what, Max, they won't be either, because I'm so good at my job. Why on earth would I? I'm irreplaceable.
I don't know, Chris, but since you've won this award, you have developed some type of attitude. You're hanging around with all the wrong people. You're saying... If it wasn't for you, there'd be no BWP shows. I mean, we all understand you do a great job, Chris. And, you're a link in the chain, the BW chain. You're a cog in the machine. Without one cog, none of the others would move. So that's not just you. It goes for everyone else as well. Just remember, you're part of the team. You're not bigger than the business, my mate.
I tell you what, Max Davis, if you call me a cog again, I will fucking walk my way to Rhythm and I will slap you across the head. I'm not a cog. I am the man running the show backstage. I tell you what, I may let the success go to my head a little bit, but why shouldn't I be proud of my achievements in backstage in the BWP? Why should I not want to show that off how proud I am? When I get my second award this year, it's going to sit on the mantelpiece next to the other one, and I'm going to have 2 awards, and I'm going to take those awards everywhere, so everyone knows that I am the best fucking tech guy in professional wrestling today, Max, and I implore anyone to come and watch one of our shows and see the job that I do, and tell me otherwise.
Right, okay, before we argue anymore, we're going to move on. I don't want to fall on you, because I can't do the show by myself.
Yeah, you're damn right, Max. Let's move on.
Okay, so the next category was Trainee of the Year. Of course, this goes to a trainee of the North Wales Wrestling Dojo, which operates in Rhyl. on a Saturday, 12 till 4. It also operates during the week on Monday evenings and Thursday evenings. If you want to get into wrestling, it's the place to be. It's the only professional wrestling academy worth mentioning in North Wales. So the 2 trainees of the year that won it, because it was given jointly this year. First one was Matty Douglas, and the second one Josh Metcalf. Matty has put so much effort in these last 12 months. I spend a lot of time down at the dojo. I am one of the trainers there. The amount of effort and time that this guy has put in is absolutely phenomenal. Moving on to Josh. Josh Metcalf joined the North Wales Wrestling Dojo when it was known as Britannia Wrestling Promotions. He actually joined under my guidership. He was part of the now defunct Junior Setter, and the amount that this chap has come on, it's just leaps and bounds. Both of them are phenomenal at what they're doing at the minute, and they are both definitely ones that you need to keep your eyes on, because these two are going places. I promise you that. These two are definitely going places. Remember them names, ladies and gentlemen. Matty Douglas and Josh Metcalf. Because, mark my words, ladies and gentlemen, in 5 to 10 years' time, you will be seeing these guys on shows. They'll definitely be in the BWP ring. They'll more than likely be booked throughout the country with various other promotions as well. That's Matty Douglas and Josh Metcalf. Keep an eye out for these 2 young rising talents.
Yeah, I know we have a difference of opinion on a lot of different things in BWP, but one thing I've always been very supportive of is our training system and our training school. Matty and Josh have worked so hard. All of our trainees have worked super hard in the past 12 months, but especially those two, and the recognition shows it. I've given a lot of advice to both of them over the past 12 months, just trying to keep them trying to support them and keep them interested and trying to keep them motivated. And I mean, really, just from what I've seen, and I haven't been down to the dojo a lot myself, but from what I saw like on the carnivals, just excellent work from both, and you can see the dedication is actually starting to really pay off now, and I'm pretty sure in the next few years, like you say, we're going to be seeing quite a lot of those two.
Okay, so we'll move on to the next award, Villain of the Year. Again, this, I would imagine, I don't have the details on how the vote went on this one. I would imagine it would have been close between Don Micho and Danzig. The overall winner for this category, of course, was the Misery Machine, Danzig.
Yeah, I mean, I must say, I'm a little bit disappointed in a way. Personally, if I had to pick anyone in a prediction, I would have said that Don Micho deserved this award, but I mean, having said that, you look at some of the despicable, disgusting, vile acts that Danzig has performed this year. I mean, disgusting, vile, and despicable to some. You know, personally, I kind of think they're opportunistic again, but that's just my opinion. You know, just attacking Steve Saxon with a chair across the head. I don't even need to get him started on you.
He threw me down the stairs. Are you trying to say that when I was thrown down them stairs, it was pretty cool?
It was certainly opportunistic. I mean, what was he trying to do? He was just, at the end of the day, he was trying to send a message to Steve Saxon. He's been trying to get hold of Steve Saxon all summer, and he wanted him in the ring. He throws you down the stairs. He throws you down the stairs, Max, gets himself suspended, and what happens next? He's in the ring with Steve Saxon at the very next show. Do you think that was opportunistic? I think it was.
I'll tell you what, mate, I'll throw you down some stairs and see if you think it's fucking cool, eh?
Mate, throw me down some stairs. Who's going to produce your fucking podcast, mate? Who's going to produce your podcast? You need me.
Yeah, well.
I should be protected, pal. I should be protected.
Your little desk, in your little buttons with a broken leg, pal. Wind your fucking neck in.
Mate, I had a broken leg, and that is exactly what I did, because I am a work horse. And I should be protected in my job. So there is a BWP.
You're a wonky donkey. Fucking workhorse.
I should be protected, so there is a BWP. So you can refer.
Carry on the point, that stupid ass point that you were trying to make.
The point is if I was to choose, I would have had my personal choice in Don Micho. but I cannot fault the fact that the BWP faithful have recognised a truly despicable, beautiful man in the Misery Machine, Danzig. And I say congratulations to you, Danzig, for an award well deserved.
A despicably beautiful man, that's how you describe Danzig.
Yep.
I'm not surprised in the least that children run away from you.
I do love lounging around Mac's mansion, but it gets boring from time to time. That's why I've subscribed to the Britannia Wrestling Promotions on-demand services. BWP On Demand? That's right, Vlad the lad. BWP On Demand. How much does this cost? It costs £3.99 a month, and for that you get all the newest releases days after they're filmed. Of course, there's also a huge back catalogue of BWP events, plus exclusive backstage content. Now that's a bargain in any language. Do you know how to access these services, Vlad? No, of course you don't, you sneaky little Russian. All you've got to do is go to www.britanniawrestling.co.uk and follow the links. It's as easy as that. Now Vlad, what are you doing in my house again? Stop eating my biscuits and get out. Okay, love you. Gemma, he's done it! Wait, what?
Okay, Chris, we're going to move on now. We're going to talk about the award, which was presented by us, the BWP Encore crew. It was, of course, the funniest moment of the year. Loads of funny moments last year, but the one that stuck in everyone's memory was the ravey-faced Pitbull and Dylan Roberts, the entrance into the Summer Rumble. Of course, they're a spin on words. It was Dave the Rave Desire and Disco Bert Fabulous, all dressed out and decked out exactly like the babyface Pitbull and Dylan Roberts.
Yeah, I mean, obviously BWP is always a fun show. There's always moments on every show that make the crowd laugh. But for me, there's only one I've seen this year that truly had even the boys in the back popped for that. It was just absolutely ridiculous and truly, I think, deserving of the award.
It's all about popping the boys with you, isn't it, Chris? It's all about popping the boys.
It certainly is.
Right, okay, so we'll move on to the next category. Tag Team of the Year. Another one that's hotly contended. You know, you had the likes of Pyro and Dean McManus, the Island Brothers, the Red Right Hand, and the eventual winners, of course, were Them Telling Boys, which again is Dave the Rave Desire and Disco Bert Fabulous.
Again, I tell you what, Max, they won twice, and they weren't even there on the night to collect their own awards. I mean, how bad is that? I think the BWP faithful have a very poor taste in choosing the awards because, you know, I mean, look at your current tag team champions, the Island Brothers. Where was their award?
Yeah, okay, undoubtedly, they've had an excellent year. But, I mean, you can't take it away from Them Telling Boys, mate. They've been a fan favourite all year as well. I think it was truly deserved to be won by them. By Them Telling Boys.
Yeah, I personally disagree with that statement. I think being current dominant undefeated champions that this was a shoo-in that the Island Brothers were going to win, but hey, you know, they're going to keep those belts till the Bash this year, so I'm sure they'll win the award this year instead and all will be right.
And if you think that's going to happen, you're a bigger fool than you look. And the next category was fan favourite of the year. There was so much hype over who was going to win this one. So many big names in the mix. So many names. The overall eventual winner, though, of Fan Favourite of the Year went to Mr. No Fear, Ry Lloyd.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I don't like him, I've got to give him credit. You know, he's had a good year, so fair dues.
Is that all you got to say about the Fan Favourite, mate? Really?
I think I said enough, Max. You know, I don't like to play favourites at BWP, but I have the guys that I admire, and yeah, he's had a very successful year as a wrestler.
Right, this is how you talk about the fan favourite of the year, Chris. Okay, this guy, Ry Lloyd, started wrestling on the first ever day that the Britannia Wrestling Academy, now known as the North Wales Wrestling Dojo, opened. He's just a thoroughbred BWP wrestler. He's been to every session, very, very rarely misses any. He is now a trainer at the North Wales Wrestling Dojo. He has worked his arse off to get where he is now. He is, of course, the current BWP Champion of Wales. He has worked his ass off, Chris. You need to show this guy more respect. And if you ask me, I think the locker room needs to show this guy a hell of a lot more respect, particularly Dean McManus.
Whoa, Max. Let me get one thing straight. I respect Ry Lloyd for his accomplishments and his achievements in BWP. That doesn't mean I have to like him on a personal level. Just make sure you understand the difference between those two things.
Right, okay, yeah. You have got such an attitude these days, Chris. Unbelievable. Right, okay, so we'll move on to the last award that was presented on the evening. It was the biggest award of the evening. And, you're going to love this, Chris. It was Wrestler of the Year, and it was won by Mr. No Fear, Ry Lloyd.
Yeah, well, need I say any more? I mean, I don't like to be biased. I really don't. On the platform that I'm on with you, Max, I like to be as unbiased as possible. But some things speak for themselves. I mean, yeah, he might have been the champion of Wales for a good length of time. But how long was he catchweight champion for, Max? You tell me that.
But he was catchweight champion, though.
For how long? For how long was he catchweight champion?
It doesn't matter.
Answer the question. How long was he? I tell you what, Max. If you're not going to answer that question, answer this question for me. Who beat him to win that catchweight title?
He.
Answer the question, Max.
Doesn't matter how long he was champ for. The fact of the matter is, he was the champ.
Who beat him, Max?
He worked his ass to get there.
He worked his ass off for 5 minutes, Max.
Half of the roster have never been catchweight champions.
Max,
has been.
Max, he won the belt for 5 minutes. You tell me, tell the audience, who, as if they don't know, who beat Ry Lloyd for that title?
You tell me.
Answer the... Okay, if you don't want to answer it, if you're too scared to admit it, I'll answer it for you. Don Micho, leader... Yes, he won that title. And how did he win that title, Max? Do you want to answer that question for me as well?
Tell me how he won it.
I'll tell everyone how he won it. He cashed in his Money in the Bank contract, his briefcase. He cashed that in. I'll tell you why he cashed that in. Because Don Micho is a smart individual. Like I said to you before, Max, he is an opportunist. The ultimate opportunist. And he cashed it in on a prone, weak, pathetic Ry Lloyd. Yeah, he might have been champion for all of 5 minutes, but that didn't stop Don Micho from capitalising and winning that belt. He won that belt on his own in the ring, and you're telling me that Ry Lloyd is Wrestler of the Year after that?
By himself. Are you insane? Are you trying to tell me that Ry Lloyd did not win that belt in that 30-man rumble by himself?
He had help from fucking 29 other guys to get the last one over.
The 29 other guys were trying to throw him out, you bell end.
Doesn't matter, Max. He might have won. He won for 5 minutes. He had that title for 5 minutes only. And he lost that belt, and he hasn't even come close to tasting it since. And I tell you what, Max, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a very long time before he gets anywhere close to tasting it again. Because I tell you what, he's not going to get another title shot, okay? And Don Micho won that belt fair and square in the middle of the ring. He had no help. He did it all on his own. All on his own, and he used his smarts. That is a smart wrestler. And you're telling me that's not good enough to be Wrestler of the Year after the year that Don Micho had?
He cashed it in just the same way as a coward would.
He cashed it in fair and square.
He couldn't. No, he cashed it in on Ry Lloyd after Ry Lloyd had won the Summer Rumble. Ry Lloyd was knackered. Ry Lloyd worked his ass off in that Rumble. Really, really worked hard. His hard work paid off just for Don Micho to come and cash in his Money in the Bank, knowing what type of state that Ry was in.
Did it really pay off?
Well, it shows you what type of man Don Micho is.
I'll tell you what kind of
Don Mitchell would never have won that belt off Ry Lloyd if Ry Lloyd was 100% fresh.
Well, I think
And you've got to remember, Ry Lloyd's beaten Don Mitchell in the past, and I don't think if it was a fair playing field, if Ry Lloyd was fresh and the rest of the red right hand weren't allowed at ringside, I tell you this now, Chris, Don Mitchell would never have won that belt.
Well,
Never have won that belt.
I'll tell you something, Max, and you answer me this question. If that was the case, then why was Ry Lloyd such a coward? He didn't even ask for a rematch.
Right, okay, listen, Chris. He could very well have asked for a rematch, but Ry is not that stupid. Ry knows that he needs to go away, focus. I spoke to Ry after that. Ry was an emotional mess. He was screwed up in the head, mate. He wanted to murder Don Mitchell, but that is not the way that Ry Lloyd does it. Ry is classy. So Ry went away and he built himself back up again. And I can tell you this, you'll see Ry Lloyd in the title picture again this year. There's no doubt about that at all in my mind. He will be one of the ones to watch going for that title this year.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, Max. It's a miscarriage of justice as far as I'm concerned. Don Mitchell should have walked away with 2 awards on the Bash night. 2 awards. Instead, he only walked away with 1. That was unjust. Ry Lloyd should not have won that award. And that's my opinion.
Well, you know what, Chris? Opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got them. So we're going to move on now to our next show, which of course is going to take place at the Grand Central Hall, Liverpool City Centre. It is, of course, the Grand Central Rumble. Chris, give us the details, mate.
As you say, Max, the Grand Central Rumble, January the 27th in the Dome, in Grand Central Hall in Liverpool. For the first time ever in Liverpool, a 30-man Rumble event is going to be held. This is absolutely huge news. I mean, we've seen some of the guys that have already been announced for this thing. I mean, surely this has to be one of the biggest wrestling events that Liverpool's ever put on.
Yeah, I think it's possibly the biggest show in BWP history as well, to be fair. It is huge.
Everyone loves a Rumble. I don't like producing them, but everyone loves a good Rumble. And I am psyched. I am absolutely psyched for this show. The amount of announcements we've had has just been absolutely shocking. We've got imports on the show. We've got epic matches. We've got huge matches. And of course, it's going to be capped off with the Rumble itself.
Yeah, it is. So I think we should have a run through some of the cards, maybe, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely, Max. And let's kick it off by talking about the Fatal 4-Way match for the Tag Team Championships. My boys, the Island Brothers, are going to absolutely have their work cut out for them because they've got to take on 3. Well, let's talk about the teams. First of all, let's talk about Wonderland, Max, making their Liverpool debut.
Yeah, this is a phenomenal team. If you haven't seen them before, I can't even describe it. They're 2 of the scariest, freakiest guys you're ever going to come across. We've had them on shows in the past where we've had children in the front row run to the back of the room, hiding underneath chairs. They are just your worst nightmare.
I tell you what, Max, I am a fearless man, but Wonderland scare the hell out of me.
You're fearless.
Okay, yeah, and the Island Brothers will also be defending against another team that's making their debut in Liverpool. We've seen Disco Burt before in the Dome, but now we're also going to see Dave the Rave because they're also going to be defending against Them Tellins Boys.
Yeah, it's, Them Tellin' Boys, the Tag Team of the Year, Chris, whether you like it or not.
And I don't.
They won that award for a reason. The amount of work they put in, the amount of effort they put in. It's not going to be easy for any of the teams.
I'll tell you what.
I mean, if I had to pick a winner, and I know we haven't even mentioned the next tag team yet, but if I had to pick a winner, I'd put my money on Them Tellin' Boys.
You know, you call them hard-working, Max. Yeah, the crowd may love them, but I tell you what, if they spent a little bit less time dancing and a little bit more time wrestling, perhaps they would be defending their tag titles in the Dome.
Yeah, but that isn't the case, is it, Chris? They are still Tag Team of the Year. okay, they're not the tag champs, but I can tell you now, I reckon they're going to win it. I think they can sneak it.
Well, I tell you what, I hope they've brought their working boots, Max, because they're going to have their work cut out for them.
Well, yeah.
There won't be time for dancing. There won't be time for dancing at Dome, Max. They've got belts to win.
Well, I don't know. They always like to put a show on, don't they?
How many title shots are they going to get? How many title shots are they going to get against the Island Brothers before they get the message?
We are forgetting there is also another team in this, Chris. Before we start arguing anymore, who's the other team?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I said they had their work cut out for them, and they're not just taking on 2 teams, they're taking on 3. Yeah, they'll also be defending against the team of Pyro and Rye Lloyd, a team that we've seen before in Liverpool, a team that put on a hell of a showing against the Red Right Hand last time at No Mercy back in November. Unfortunately, they were unsuccessful, but, I mean, they've got their chance here at the Rumble, and I tell you what, I have a bad feeling that, we might just be seeing new champions at the Dome, and it might just be Pyro and Rye Lloyd.
It could be Wrestler of the Year against... Wrestler of the Year, and of course Pyro, a high-flying former Wrestler of the Year. I think these guys are going to make a really decent team as well. I said I'd put my money on them Tellings boys, but to be fair, I'd probably go each way, and I'd put a little bit of money on Rye and Pyro as well. And I don't want to forget about Wonderland as well, because I've seen them guys in action, and do you know what? They could win it. In fact, fuck it, I'm not putting any money down, because I could very well easily lose my money.
Well, do you know what, Max? When it comes down to it, the real thing that matters with tag teams is experience and teamwork. And you look at someone like the Island Brothers, that's just it. They're brothers. They've had a lifetime of experience, and it shows they are the current champions. And I tell you what, any of those teams are going to have to work hard. But I think, considering their level of experience as a team, and the fact that they are the current champions, I think it's going to take a job to wrestle those titles away from the Island Brothers, and I would be surprised if we see new champions.
Yeah, well, we're just going to have to wait and see what transpires here, Chris. It's going to be an awesome, awesome match. What's the next match on the card, mate?
Yep, moving on to a match that I'm personally looking forward to. A guy that is just beloved in Wales, but in Liverpool, not so much. It's 100% Welsh beef. Dylan Roberts is going to be taking on a man that is absolutely beloved in Liverpool. And may I say, a current world of sport wrestling superstar as well, in delicious Danny Hope. I cannot wait for this one.
This is going to be an absolute masterclass, I'm sure of that. Dylan Roberts, probably the best Welsh wrestler out there at the minute, going up against world of sport talent and, of course, BWP talent, delicious Danny Hope. It's going to be an absolute barn burner, that I can assure you of. It's going to be super kick heaven. There's going to be super kicks, there's going to be elbow drops. Woo! There's going to be all sorts happening in this.
Yeah, I mean, the Liverpool fans might not take to him so well, but I have a wealth of respect for Dylan Roberts. I think he really is one of Wales's finest exports. And what can we say about Danny Hope? I mean, everywhere he goes, he is absolutely beloved by the crowds, and I think...
He's red hot, isn't he? And rightly so. And that's what got him that place on World of Sport, let's be honest.
I tell you what, guys, if you're going to get a ticket to watch this show for any match, I mean, I know the Rumble is a huge thing. I mean, obviously, what we've got coming up later in the 6-man tag, that is a huge deal as well. But for me, this is a match that you do not want to miss.
Right, moving on, Chris, because we are running out of time.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the next match I'm going to talk about here, it's kind of a surprise for me. It was a bit of a shock, to be honest. Extra special match announcement, one that took Facebook by absolute storm. Frankie Sloan, Liverpool's favourite son, is coming back to the Dome for the Grand Central Rumble. And he's going to be taking on former TNA and Global Force Wrestling heavyweight champion and Britain's own Magnus.
Yes, Chris, this indeed is going to be probably the match of the night, and that's not shitting on any of our other guys. I can just see it happening this way, because these two are going to put on a technical masterclass. Frankie Sloan has been wrestling in this country for years. He is old school. He was taught old school. In fact, he is Steve Saxon's former tag team partner. He knows how to wrestle. He's not a fighter. He's a wrestler. And the same can be said about Magnus. And I think this match is just going to be a technical masterclass.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, a technical masterclass is the perfect way to describe this match. I mean, like you say, Frankie Sloan is an absolute legend of British wrestling, and Magnus, his success speaks for itself. He's obviously been over in the States with TNA and Global Force, and now he's coming back just for us for BWP, and I cannot wait to see this match.
Yeah, Magnus is a household name now, isn't he? You know, it's definitely stalking the guy, and he wouldn't have got to where he is today if he didn't know exactly what he was doing. He is one of the best British wrestlers outside of Britain today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Steve Saxon always does such a great job in bringing over these imports and these... I mean, obviously Magnus is... Technically, I guess he is an import now because he's working over in the US so often. Always a pleasure to see our guest stars come in, though, and I honestly cannot wait to see this match. I think it is going to be something very special.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. I don't know, we haven't had our paperwork through to say who gets to ref which match. Obviously, if I'm reffing it, I'm going to have the best seat in the house. If I'm not wrestling it, I can tell you this, I'm not going to be backstage. I'm going to be ringside, and I'm going to be watching this match for myself.
Well, I'll tell you what, Max, this is from me personally. If that sellout Johnny B. Goodman gets to referee that match, you are personally welcome in my private production box to watch the action because I have the best seat in the house. Take that on me.
Oh, thank you very much, Chris. I've heard how much you like, short people like myself in your box.
Well, as Encore lads, we got to stick together.
Yeah, damn right. Team Encore, and he's got Team Encore Radio.
Team Encore Radio. That's the one.
That's what it is, mate. It's the A team, not the B team like them bloody TV hacks. TV yard tards. That's what they are. They're yard tards, Chris.
Do you know what, Max? I think you're starting to see things from my opinion, and I got to say, I'm kind of liking this change. I think you should keep this up, Max. I really do.
It's only towards. I'm just disappointed that he left us. It's disappointed me.
Yeah, it's disappointing.
As much as I like the guy, I do. I don't think I'll ever look at him the same way again.
Well, you'd have always got me, Max.
Yeah, well, that's.
What more could you? I mean, honestly, when it boils down to it, what more could you want?
That's just all well and good, mate. But I don't even know when you're looking at me if you're talking to me or not.
But at least you know that I care, unlike some people.
Yeah, I guess.
I think we should move on.
Yeah, because there's a bit of romance going on here, dude.
Yeah, dude. I might not swing it. I know that you might be partial to a bit of sausage, but that's just
only if it's a wonky donkey sausage. Only if it's a wonky donkey sausage.
I don't discriminate, pal. I really don't. Right, moving on. I know we're going to cover the Rumble, we're going to get to that, but before we do get to the Rumble, I've got to talk about an absolutely huge match. It might be, I've said this for pretty much every match now on the show, this could be the biggest match on the card. This is an absolutely huge 6-man tag team match. It's going to be the Red Right Hand. It's going to be Dave Del Vecchio, Don Micho, and Sonny Durson taking on the babyface Pitbull, Roughneck, and for the very, very first time ever making his in-ring wrestling debut is going to be UFC superstar Dave Faulkner.
Yeah, this is not going to be your regular wrestling match. This is going to be an out-and-out fight. There's no other way to describe it. It's going to be a fight. Right, we've talked enough about the Red Right Hand. Their reputation precedes them. We know the babyface Pitbull can go when he needs to go. He is one of the most physical wrestlers there is. We know that Roughneck can fight. We know he likes to bring toys, let's say, to the ring. He is a fighter. The unknown quantity in this match is Dave Faulkner. Now, don't get me wrong. We know the guy can fight in an octagon, but what's he like in the wrestling ring? I've had a sneak preview, Chris, because I've been down to the dojo and I've seen him training with Pitbull. And I can tell you this, The guy's a fucking monster. He's going to rip the red right hand's heads off their necks. And then Pitbull is going to piss down their necks for good measure. And then Roughneck is going to shit down their necks just for more good measure.
I tell you what, I fear for the red right hand, I really do. You say you've been to the dojo, Max, what you might, or actually, you wouldn't remember because you were, I think, unconscious for this portion of the match, but if you think back to Scouser series when Don Micho was defending his catchweight title against Pitbull, obviously Dave Faulkner was the special guest enforcer for that, and there was a good portion towards the end of that match where he was in the ring and he was taking on all of the guys. I think he suplexed Phil Wood. I think he suplexed Filthy. I think he gave Dave Delvecchio a backdrop at one point. I'm pretty sure he gave Don Micho a pretty sick kick to the side of the head. So we know that he can bring it in the ring. It's just how can he cope in a match environment? I mean, as far as I'm aware, Max, this is not a no holds barred fight. There are going to be rules sanctioned for this match.
Yeah, there will be, and that's what I say. It is a known quantity, but the amount of work that Faulkner's been putting in with Pitbull, I've seen that he's been putting the work in with Pitbull, and no doubt Roughneck's going to have a hand in this as well. I think he's going to come out there and he's going to look really, really strong as a professional wrestler. I don't want to take anything away from the red right hand. Their tactics work. They're a hell of a team. Okay, they're scoundrels. They're cheaters, but I don't want to take anything away from them, but I can't see them picking up the win here, mate. I know how much you like to big the red right-hander, but I can't see them walking away with the big W here, mate.
Well, at the end of the day, the red right hand are a unit. They're a well-oiled machine. Pitbull, Roughneck and Faulkner individually, yeah, they might be forces to be reckoned with, but they're inexperienced working together, and I think that is going to be the key here in this match, is the experience of the red right hand to outsmart, outwit, and ultimately possibly even defeat this team. And you know me, I love nothing more than a down and dirty fight, Max, and I think that's exactly what we're going to get, and this could just blow the roof off the dome. Yeah,
it's going to blow the roof off the dome for sure. But we're going to reserve judgment on who's going to win. I think we're going to disagree here again.
I think you might be right.
So let's move on.
Well, I mean, we've only got one more match to cover, Max, and what a match it is.
It is, of course, the main event, Chris. It is the 30-man over-the-top rope rumble. And, of course, the winner of this match gets a guaranteed title shot. So there's going to be so much interest from each and every participant in this match.
Do you know what the best thing I think we could do, Max? I think we should run through some of the names that have been announced.
That sounds like a plan, my mate. It sounds like a plan.
All right, I'll give you some names. Let's start with, and I mentioned him earlier, 100% Welsh beef, Dylan Roberts.
Oh, I can see him rubbing his hands at this one. Dylan hasn't been in the title hunt for a while, and I know how much Dill likes the taste of gold.
And I'll tell you what, I hope that they're not too banged up from earlier in the night, but all three members of the Red Right Hand are going to be involved. Don Micho, Dave Delvecchio, and Son of Durson are all going to be in the Rumble.
Yeah, and you know what? That's going to be an advantage to them guys, because them guys are going to work together, aren't they? Until it's just the three of them. And then I can well imagine Don Micho ordering them both out over the top rope.
I'll tell you what, let's give you some names that haven't already been mentioned this night. I talk about Dean McManus.
Yeah, has a very nasty streak at the moment. I'm sure he is looking at this and thinking, I need to pick up the win here.
Here's one for you, Max. Someone that had a lot to say about this Rumble at our last show at No Mercy back in November. The North's heel, Joey Hayes. What do we think? What do you fancy his chances?
Joey Hayes, I actually do. You know, he hasn't long come back from an injury, but he has put so much work in. Okay, yes, his attitude stinks at the minute, but the amount of work and effort that this guy's put in just to get back to where he is now, I could see him doing it. But then again, there's 29 other guys in there who could very well easily do it as well.
I'll tell you what, Max, as much as it begrudges me, there are a few good guys that are going to be in this Rumble, so I suppose I better list off a few for you. Let's start with the North and the Drill.
Drill. I love Drill. Yeah, Drill. Yeah, I put my money on Drill just because I like him. I wonder how Liverpool are going to react to Drill. They haven't seen him before. Oh, they're going to love him. He's going to come out with his Greg's little plastic bag gimmick, and he's going to be handing out pies to everyone wearing his little flat cap. And yeah, they're going to love Drill. Liverpool will love Drill.
All right, Max, let's talk about one half of the YOLO squad, Drew Parker.
He's going to be high flying. I can see him just jumping and cartwheeling all over the place, knocking the shit out of everyone.
I tell you what, Drew, don't slip on that top rope. It could be your undoing. Now, the next superstar, Max, is one that I know a few of the BWP faithful may be quite familiar with. It's someone, I don't know if we've seen him before in BWP, but he's done the rounds in Rumbles around the country before. That is the mysterious Mothman.
The what?
Max, words cannot...
Send me a picture over.
I'm sending it now, pal.
Yeah, I got it. What the fuck is that?
Do you know, I fancy his chances. I really do. We don't know who's under that mask. It could be Hulk Hogan.
Really?
It could be.
Hogan just walk out as he is.
It could be The Rock.
It's more like the Croc. Have you seen? What the fucking hell is it? I can assure you, he has never been in BWP before.
I wouldn't be.
You want to shit on the guy too much because I don't either.
I wouldn't be surprised if anyone in the ring just jumps over the top rope in sheer fear. To be honest with you.
Is he going to be able to compete, or is he just going to be looking up at the lights trying to grab him? I mean, what the fuck?
I tell you what, we'll just have to wait and see. Here's one for you, Max, since you love him so much. Former PWI BWP World Catchweight Champion for 5 minutes, Mr. No Fear Ry Lloyd.
Yeah, Ry Lloyd won the Rumble last year back in Denby, didn't he? So he has a lot of experience in this type of match, doesn't he?
I suppose he does. He does.
I might even put a fiver on Ry as well. Ry's going to be loving this. He's going to be loving this, and because of the success of last year's Rumble, I think he's going to think that he's in with a good chance, and I'd have to agree with him.
I tell you what, Max, I mean, I could go on all night. There's so many guys in this Rumble, but I'll leave you with one more, and it's kind of a wild card, and we mentioned this just a few minutes ago. Dave Faulkner has entered the Rumble. Now,
wow.
That was a bit of a shock to me. Dave Faulkner has entered the Grand Central Rumble. This has to be, I mean, you talk about Mothman being a wild card. This one has to be a real wild card for me. Could you imagine if Dave Faulkner, I mean, thinking about it, could you imagine if the Mothman won the Rumble and became #1 contender for the world title?
It could happen. Could happen. This is huge, though. Dave Faulkner, UFC in the Rumble. I've gone back and I've watched the end of the match between Don Micho and the babyface Pitbull at Scouser Series. I had to watch it because I got knocked out, so I wanted to know what exactly happened. And I seen the suplexes that Dave Faulkner gave. And I reckon this guy could suplex someone right over the top rope without hesitation at all. He's probably a guy that needs watching. No, he is a guy that needs watching. He's going to be dangerous in there. And when I mean dangerous in a good way. This guy could win it. This guy could easily win it.
I'll tell you what, if he's going to suplex anyone over the top rope, I hope it's that little pipsqueak Ry Lloyd. We don't want him winning too many Rumbles and raising his ego. I don't know. I mean, surely, if, you know...
Stop.
I mean, could you imagine Dave Faulkner, former UFC superstar, current PWI BWP World Catchweight Champion? That doesn't just raise our status, that raises his.
I'd have to agree with you there, yeah. It's hard to get my head around it because...
Could you imagine if he went back to fighting in mixed martial arts and took our belt with him?
This isn't the Monday Night Wars, Chris. We are not the Monday Night Wars BWP versus UFC. The man can do what he wants. And who are you to try and say that he can't? Mate, he'd rip your head off.
No, I'll tell you what, Max, if he takes our world title, takes it to UFC, held it up on TV in front of millions of people, that can only be one thing for us, and that is good. Because could you imagine the subscribers that we would get to our on-demand service?
Yeah, I've got to agree with you there, Chris. The fact that Dave Faulkner is making his BWP and professional wrestling debut with us is huge. Absolutely huge. Not just in the world of professional wrestling, not just in the world of MMA, but in the sports world in general. It is huge.
Yeah, I mean, his reputation speaks for itself. I mean, since that was announced, the fact that he was going to be wrestling, making his debut on this show, the sales for the Dome have gone absolutely through the roof. We're going to absolutely pack that place out. I tell you, Max, I'm gonna go out on the limb here, and I'm going to say that this is going to be the biggest show in Liverpool. No, actually, wait. This is going to be the biggest show in both Liverpool and BWP's history. Mark my words.
I have to agree with you there, Chris. I do think so.
And I urge each and every one of you, if you get your tickets to this show right now, I tell you, this is not something you want to miss. And if you can't make that show, you subscribe to our on-demand service, because I'll tell you, I'll be working around the clock to get this event up on there within the week. You mark my words, this will be a show you do not want to miss.
Yeah, it is going to be a show that any grapple fan wants. The most avid British wrestling fan or the most casual pro wrestling fan, this is going to be a show that you'll all want to watch. So get your tickets now. You can get your tickets from Ringside World. You can get them by contacting BWP on Facebook. Or if you can't make it, like Chris said, subscribe to the BWP network, and you need to watch it back. You will definitely need to watch it back. Even if you're at the show, subscribe to the BWP network and watch it back, because you'll want to, because it's going to be that freaking good.
Well, unfortunately, guys, that's all we've got time for tonight. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's episode. I just want to give a little preview to our next episode. We are going to be giving a full review of BWP's Road to the Rumble, which took place this past Saturday. We're also going to be reviewing the Grand Central Rumble from Liverpool in its entirety. And also, we're going to be previewing our debut show, our first ever event in Brimbo, Wrexham. And I'll tell you right now, guys, check out the podcast next time, because we're going to have an exclusive for you, a debut, a first ever appearance in BWP. So check that one out, guys.
So, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and of course, subscribe to the BWP network, our on-demand service. I'd like to thank you very much for listening and downloading our podcast. Please go back, listen to previous editions, and of course, we will be back like Chris has just said. So from me, Max Davies.
And from me, CD famously, Chris Dutton.
Good night. I don't know, since you've won this award, you've got, I don't know, since you've won this award, I don't know, since you've won the...
Take the cock out of your mouth.
Hey, my name's not Chris Dutton.
It's not a donkey stick, Max.
Josh Metcalf first started when the North Wales Wrestling Dojo was called Britannia Wrestling Academy. Fucking hell, what was that?
some kind of bike, I think.
You had a curry?
Not yet. You look at some of the disgusting, vile, fucking, what was the word I used before? Despicable. Right, okay, shut up. Fucking hell. You look... Okay.
I hope they fucking hell, Chris, because they only kiss in heaven, man.
Oh, God. For fuck's sake. But I cannot fault the fact that the BWP faithful have recognised a truly despicable, beautiful man in the Misery Machine, Danzig. And I say congratulations to you, Danzig, for an award well deserved.
A despicably beautiful man, that's how you describe Danzig.
Yep.
I'm not surprised in the least that children run away from you.
Mate. For fuck's sake.
I thought that went well. I thought that was a seamless link.
Oh, it's staying in, but fucking hell.
That's gonna stay in.
For me, the funniest part about that was Steve Saxon trying to play the fucking clip back at the bash.
Why?
Just watch it back and you'll see for yourself. Holy shit. I tell you, there's a reason I have the job I do. I think personally that the BWP faithful have very poor taste in a choice of...
I'm very poor what?
Very poor taste.
And if you think that's going to happen, you're a bigger fool than you look. And you look a big fool. In fact, you look a big... yeah, hold on. And the next And the next category... Are you still there, mate? Can you hear me? So many big names in the mix. Dylan Roberts.
So many names, I can't remember any of them.
Dylan Roberts. The Babyface Pitbull. Dave Faulkner. Wait. I have to try and
Max Davis, Steve Saxon.
Steve Saxon. So many names. So I think we should have a run through the cards, maybe, Chris.
Let me just get the fucking card up.
Fucking hell, you're so unprofessional.
Well, I'm trying to get the...
the show can't go on without me. The show can't go on without me. You don't even have the details in front of you. Jesus Christ.
I tell you what, Max, I am a fearless man, but Wonderland scared the hell out of me.
You're fearless.
I tell you, Max, kids running away and hiding in the tables, I thought that was just you.
What, running away and hiding in the tables?
No, causing kids to run away and hide in the tables.
It's gonna be one hell. It's gonna be fucking hell.
Oh, this gang wheel's building it.
It's gonna be...
Oh, here's a good one for you, Max. Someone that was a here's a good one for you, Max.
Yeah. Get that talk out your mouth.
Oh.
So, from me, Max Davis, from
me, CD famously, Chris Dutton,
we wish you good night.
Are we not doing North Star anymore?
No. Alright then, dude.
Yeah, cool. Nice one. Cheers.
Don't need me for anything else, do you?
I don't know. Unless you want to reach around.
What, over the phone, mate?
Well, I've got long arms.
Yeah, they're not that long. Don't think they'll fit down fibre optic cables either.
Maybe not.